Okay, so in this video, what we're going to do is take a quick look at how we create a digital massing model, right? The general workflow of Revit is to first you create your massing model by sketch or physical models, and then it's recommended that you convert that information into a digital massing model so you can further explore your design. So we are going to just take a quick look at how we do that. So this is the massing model that we are going to create. And if you look at this, this represents what perhaps a design early stage would look like. Maybe for the design, the general footprint of the building is being fleshed out. Perhaps the major spaces, as what you can see here, you can see the major spaces is being worked on. Now, at this stage of a design, everything is not known. There are some basic conditions that you are sure of, but not everything. So for example, the general size of this box, which would be the main area of the building, is known. The general heights may be known, and maybe things like entrances and certain wall heights. But pretty much at a design's early stage, in terms of sketching and exploring the design, this is what one may have to work with. Now, the recommendation is that from this sketch we create a digital version of this, and that enables us to rotate it, explore the model a little bit more, and more importantly, at this early stage we can generate information from this massing model. So in order to create this massing model, the first thing we need to do is we're gonna use Revit's conceptual mass modeling mode. Now, right before we open that mode, it's important to note that Revit really has two modeling environments. It has the project modeling environment, which is primarily for creating your project, and that's usually an RVT file. Then it has a family modeling environment, and that's a RFA file format, and that's usually there to create certain custom objects. So if we look at this example here, you can see where the family model environment has a type that's called conceptual mass environment. So this is the conceptual mass environment that we'll be using to create this model. And as you can see, the intention of the conceptual mass, it's really, Revit really sets up a workflow for us to be able to convert our sketched design into a digital version. So it has those tools upfront ready for us to use. So back into Revit, to start the conceptual mass modeling, the first thing we're going to do is go to under families. We're going to go to new. Then we're going to be presented with this dialog box, which essentially is asking us to open the template that we'll be using for our family editor. Now, this part is important because certain templates work with certain family modeling environments. So for our conceptual mass modeling environment, we're going to go in the folder that says conceptual mass, and then we're going to open this file. Now, this folder is located in your Revit template file folder, but if you don't have it, you can get a copy from the BIM website. So we're going to open this now. All right, and this is what it looks like. Now, what we'll be doing is we are going to be using our sketch. So this is our sketch here, and we're going to put that in one corner here. And the idea is that just as how we would sketch this model, we are going to visually look on this sketch and create a digital sketch of it right here in the conceptual mass editing mode. Now, the great thing about this mode is that most of the tools that Revit has in this conceptual mass modeling, if you notice the ribbon up here, are really geared towards making fast iterations of our sketches. So let's see how that is done. Now remember, this concept drawing is not much detailed, and there is no need for it to be detailed because the design at this stage is still being explored, but we are just creating a digital version so we can expand our exploration. So the first thing is that if we look at these sketches here, we can kind of see how this space is built up, right? And we have some basic measurements, so that's great. Now some measurements we don't have, and that's also fine because we'll be moving that around. Now the first thing we want to do is to draw this general shape here, which is 17 meters by 20 meters. So notice that this is in meters, so the first thing we have to do is go over to manage and go over to our units, and we need to change our units to meters. There we go. All right, now you'll notice this space that is here is really meant for us to begin the modeling process. This point here is actually the center of our model, and it's a real good idea to just have your model within this space. All right, so we're going to first draw that box. So we're just going to use the rectangle tool and put a box there. Now you realize that this box is pretty big, so we are gonna just make that a bit smaller. So let's say we're gonna make this 20. There we go. And we're gonna make this 17. So that's pretty much the size of our building, right? So we're gonna move this perhaps closer to the center. It doesn't have to be dead center, or maybe for reference you might want to put a corner there, but it doesn't really matter because this mode is really meant for sketching. All right, great. So we have our box there. Then what we're going to do is extrude this box. So we're going to go here and choose the create form, and it's going to create an extrusion for us. Now from our sketch here, you can see that the height was roughly about 9 meters. So we're going to say 9 meters there. There we go. And we can see that in our exploration sketch here, we placed a wall here that seems to extend this length. So we're going to do the same there, and there are different ways that we could do that. Now we could just do it in 3D again, but I want us to now explore a bit more. So we're going to go to the level 1, which is our plan view here, and you can see that this wall is primarily along it is parallel to the 20 meter area. So we're just going to draw a model of that wall. So I'm just going to use the rectangle tool and just draw a rectangle like that, and that's our wall. In the conceptual mass editing mode, for walls you don't really have to worry about the thickness of walls, because it's mainly for mass modeling and exploring ideas. Details like that we don't have to worry about. So instead of doing this rectangle here, I'm just going to draw a single line there, and that represents this wall that's there. Now if I go to the 3D view, you can see that is my wall there. And then all I have to do is select this line and go to create. Now, notice when I click on this line, I'm not getting the create. Okay, I'm getting the create form here. So I'm going to, when I select this line, I get the create form, and I can click on it once, and it will just create a flat form there. So there we go. Now we also have a wall that's kind of angled here, maybe a 45 degree, and then this is a 90 degree from that. Now some of these angles we're just going to estimate, you know, what's happening. Actually this wall is a bit taller like that, and we do have a height for this. This is 10 meters, so we're going to just put that in at 10. There we go. All right, great. So let's create this other wall here, and let's do that in the level 1 view. So we're going to go again to line, and we're going to make that about 45, maybe like that. There we go. Let's go back to 3D view here, and we're going to do the same. Click on that line and create form, and we're going to just drag this all the way up. All right, so next you can kind of see how this shape is this like stage like area. We have a general distance here, and we can pretty much assume that this line is parallel to that line. So we're going to do this in plan again, and you might realize that it's easy to use the plan view to get some of these things done, but pretty much the process is really just using lines to explore your design. There we go. All right, now remember, this is a sketch. We're not trying to produce drawings here, so don't get hung up on, you know, smaller details like this. All right, so this is about 9 meters here. So what we can do is we're going to just take another line, and we're going to write 9 meters like that. And then we can just select this line, and I'm going to use a move. So I'm going to go to modify and move, and I'm going to move this right there. All right, good stuff. So we have this part of the model here, and this is actually, you can see that this line, I'm going to tab into this line, is maybe, according to the sketch, it's maybe something like that, right? Now we're not going to worry about it too much. All right, then we have another wall like that. And what we're going to do here is I'm just going to draw a line here and close off this shape like that. Then I'm going to move this line back to hit that point there. I'm going to pull this forward to hit that point there. All right. So if I go back to my 3D view, and then what we can do is create form, and we can definitely, we're going to select the height. We're going to tab into the height here and move this down. You know, maybe it's the base floor, so we're going to estimate this at 5 meters. So we're going to put 5. There we go. And pretty much all we have left is this front wall here. So we are going to use the line tool again, and let's see if we can do that in 3D. Maybe not. Maybe much easier to just do it in plan. There we go. And in 3D view, we go to create form, and there we go. Now notice we do have some form subtraction that's happening here, and this might happen. You might have your model, and you might want to just create some kind of holes or open ways and openings, and we're not going to be trying to get in doors and windows, but it's just to kind of give us a visual identifier as to where these openings would be. So the first opening would be on the base here, right? And if we look at that, we can actually begin to, we're just going to estimate where these openings are. So we're going to use our line tool, and notice here we have where we can draw on a face or we can draw on a plane. Right now it's set to draw on face, so if the face is highlighted, we will actually draw on that face. So let's notice the face is highlighted there, so we're going to draw the opening on that face. All right, and then we're going to close that up by using our trim extend. There we go. Now, instead of creating a form, this time we're going to use a void form. And when we click that, notice that it turns orange, and this is basically asking us to now select the element that we want to subtract from. So we're going to choose this element here, and we just need to press enter, and there we go. Our void form is created. And this is just a tip telling us how we can create these void forms. All right, so next we wanted to also indicate the doorway that is here. So to do that, we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to choose the rectangle tool, and we're going to make sure we are on draw on face again, and see that face is now highlighted. With that face highlighted, we're going to just draw that rectangle there like that, and then we are going to choose the void form again, and then choose the object that we want to subtract from, which is that box. There we go. And that is our element there. Let's remove this dimension. So there we have it. And that is pretty much how we can do some quick iterations using the mass editing mode. Right. Let's just pull this out a little more here. That's what I wanted to do. And there we have it. That is pretty much our sketch done in a couple minutes. So using this mass editing mode, you can really explore your designs. We do actually have one more void to attach to the bottom, so let's get that done real quickly. Now to do this one, what we're going to do is select a line, and we are going to create a new floor plane, because we're going to assume that in this sketch this would be the ground floor. So we are going to go to create, and then we're going to go to level, and we're going to put this new level at 5. There we go. So notice now we have a new level. Here we have the ground, and then we have this new level that is right here. All right, so with this new level here now, we are going to make that assumption that this section here is going to be subtracted. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make sure that we're drawing on the surface. So make sure we have that surface highlighted. And we can always draw this and modify it a bit later. So let's do it that way here. And we're going to make this 5. There we go. And let's use our align tool to get this side aligned. So we're going to choose the align tool. and pick that point there. All right, then we're going to select the shape and use the void form again, and we're going to select the element that we want to cut. So make sure that we are selecting the entire cube, and there we go. We're going to click this face here and just pull it forward just a bit, and there we go. That is pretty much our model created in a few minutes.